Hello everyone, this is Sally McFadden and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in the United States. Today we are going to make a fun fold card. It comes together super quickly, but it has a lot of character and it showcases a lot of that designer series paper that we all love. Let's flip the camera down and get started on today's project. I just wanted to remind you about Sale-A-Bration and that it is just a great time to get some free products, and I wanted to show you a couple of those today. We are going to be working with page 9 in the Sale-A-Bration catalog, and it is the most adored specialty designer series paper. And it is considered a specialty paper because it has some gold foiling on it. And I have some other examples that'll also use some Sale-A-Bration things and some other things from the mini catalog. Today's card, we are going to be using the Adoring Hearts stamp set. And we are not using this embossing folder today. I have some of these components on another card from this Thoughtful Moments hybrid embossing folder. But this is just a super sweet set, and it goes well with that Adoring Hearts paper. This is such an easy card. If you see it first, you think, oh, it might be really difficult, but it is super, super easy. We want to keep this 8.5 side intact. And so we're just going to come over here and we are going to cut the 11-inch side in half at 5.5. Now we'll use this piece again, but you just want to turn it, and I'm going to put my arm out because I think it's a good visual. You could just come over here and cut 1/4 inch off, but we are going to cut this to 8.25 inches. So you can measure on your trimmer either way. And then we have this little scrap here. Now for scoring, it is super, super simple. We are just going to line it up, again, keeping that long side at the top, and we're going to score it at 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we're going to pick up this piece, and we are going to cut this piece at 3.5. And then we're just going to turn it and cut it at 4 3/4. So there is one panel. We are going to need a 3x4 panel as well. So we're going to move this over to 3 and turn it around to 4. Now don't worry about writing all these down because I have all of the measurements linked below for you over on my blog, so you don't have to write them all down. And then I'm going to put this away because I've already cut my other pieces that need cutting. I'm going to grab a bone folder, and we're just going to fold this in half at that score line that's towards the middle. Now I need to smooth out my edges here. I pushed a little hard with my trimmer. Sometimes that happens. And you can just lay your bone folder flat and flatten those out. And then we're just going to go back and forth, making mountains, valleys, folds, and give these a nice crease. So this is what you are left with, and it's really, really easy. And then we have our 2 panels here as well. I have 3 pieces of that Adoring Hearts paper that we are going to adhere to the Flirty Flamingo. And I see I need to do a little smoothing on that one as well. Now I am using both the seal and the multi-purpose glue today. I like both. I'm normally a multi-purpose girl, but sometimes with my designer series paper, I know myself enough to know that I can be a little heavy-handed with that glue. And sometimes because that designer series paper is just a little bit thinner, it will get too wet. And then it kind of shows sometime. And I don't like that. So I like to use my seal for like liners on the inside of my cards and things like that. Now this one, we are going to want to keep a border, and it's not necessarily going to be even on all the sides. It's going to be closer to the center fold. You can fool around with it and make it be a little more centered if you like. And see, I even got some of that seal. And this is one of the things people like about it, is because you can just rub that off. And then if it just doesn't rub off, just grab your gum eraser. This is one of my favorite tools of the craft room. I just got on Amazon, and just take that little extra over. Now for these pieces, we are just going to line up our designer series paper on this. I apologize. Let me slide this up here for you a little bit so you can see it better. And this is very sticky. The Seal Plus is a little bit different. It has a little bit more of like a plastic feel to it, and it is much stronger. And sometimes it can tend to tear designer series paper until you get the groove of working with it. It is great for 3D projects, things like that. It's not something I would use on the regular though. So here we go. We have this piece, and I just love that print. And I love a good plaid as well. So let's just flip this over and run that as close to the edge. Now the good thing is if you see that you've gone over, you can push it back onto itself. That is another great thing about the seal. There are great things about all of our adhesives, and you just have to pick the ones that suit you or suit the project the best. So here we go for that. Now I want to start, and I am going to switch to my multi-purpose glue, because I think that when you have something that you're going to pull on, this is much better. It's stronger. And so I know that I need to also be a little bit careful with how I put my liquid glue on here. You don't just want to go in here and put it all over the place. I'm just going to kind of know, just going to kind of mark that I don't want to go any higher than this. So I'm going to purposely, well, at least I tried to keep it off the edge. This one went over a little bit. And you know what, we'll just take a little pass at that. But then we're just going to match this corner and this side and put this down. And so I'll just give it a little tap that way and a little tap and slide this way, and then we know that these two edges are aligned. Just give it a little back rub, and there's the start to the fold of our fun fold card. We are going to just flip this down and do the very same thing on this panel. And you want to get it fairly close to that point, because you know you're going to be pulling on it. You don't want to have a bunch of it hanging loose. And we're just going to put this right up against that score line, or just maybe a little bit shy of it. And we're going to give it a little press. I'm going to take it, I'm going to tap it down so we know that it's straight. And I am also going to give this a bend to make sure, while I still have that slide room, that if I need to slide it, that I can still do that. And so here are the panels of our card. Isn't that cute? I'm going to move this over for a minute, and we're going to do some stamping. You can see I've been making some cards, a lot of Valentine's going on. And I just have 3 pieces of basic white. And we're going to do something a little bit different on each one of them. Just make sure I kind of have them all going the same or the right direction. I'm going to mount up some stamps from the Adoring Hearts stamp set. And I want this heart. Let's see here. I want With All My Heart. I want these roses. And I want this little floral spray here. And let me see. I love you. And this is to my Valentine. You may or may not want to use this, depending on who you're giving it to. And I have so many examples that are not Valentine, using some other papers. So I want you to make sure to stick around. We're going to put some of these on blocks here. Now this designer series paper has real red, Flirty Flamingo, and gold in it. Let's go ahead and put this on there, and then we'll just swap this one out here towards the end. Let's start with our Flirty Flamingo ink. Get that opened up. We're going to start with this smaller one. This is going to be on the front, and we are going to ink up our heart, a floral heart. And we're just going to center this, or wherever you would like to put it, on your focal point, whatever your focal point image is going to be. Just because I am using this paper and stamp set does not mean that you can't sub in your favorite. And then I'm going to skip over to this last panel. And I am just going to stamp one of these in the center, and then just kind of work out from there and stamp a few more along the bottom. You can make these higher, lower, all the same size, it doesn't matter. We're going to put this ink away, and we're going to bring in our real red. And I wasn't sure I was going to like this combination, but I do. And we're going to stamp right in the center of that heart with our real red that says With All My Heart. And it's nice, it kind of goes over it just a little bit, but it's darker, so it works. And we will mount up the I Adore You. I thought it said I love you, but it's I adore you. And we're going to just stamp that right here at the top. Super cute. Then for this center one, we are going to take our large floral image and just put it up and down in the center of this panel. It stamps so pretty. I am going to let it be your call for this next one. If you want to use this or if you want to skip it. It works totally either way. And I'm going to stamp to my Valentine. If you don't love to fussy cut, then just skip this part. It's fine. If you're worried about it and you're worried about cutting these in half and not getting between that Y and the V very well, just stamp it twice on this piece of paper that we had left over from the beginning. I'm going to shut my ink pad. And I am going to grab my paper snips. If you don't have paper snips, this is the best like $10 you're going to spend in our catalog, I promise. We are just going to cut. I think I can probably do this well with just one. But if you're worried about it, like I say, just do it twice. I am just going to cut right down through there. And that's probably a little bit close there for some of you. You might not love that. But just do some fussy cutting It goes very quickly. Just leave a little border. Remember, move your paper, not your scissors. And you know, it just doesn't have to be perfect. You could cut this out straight on your paper trimmer if that is how you prefer to cut things. You can always find a way. You could, die cut it with a small die if that works for you, or a large die. You could just rework this center panel and do something different if you don't like to fussy cut. That is one great thing. We just have so many options for doing our cards. So you make it work the way that you enjoy doing it. So there is my Valentine. And I think I do want to, I wasn't going to, but I think I do want to have this. I was going to try to do it and not cut closer down into that E, but I just think I'll like it better if I trim some of this away. There we go. And then 2 just so we can split it up on our panel. And see, even though I didn't do that right, as long as you don't cut it off, once you adhere it down, it's going to heal any kind of boo-boos that you have. So just try to do it a few times and see if you can relax into it and just enjoy some fussy cutting. I find it very relaxing, and so I probably take a little longer to do it than I should, but it's like I say, it's just one of those things I enjoy. I've always just enjoyed paper crafting, and so these kind of things, I just find it super, super relaxing. Now I do say, the older I am, I need better lighting to do it than I used to. So this is going to be for this center panel. And this is how I did mine. And you just determine where you want to put yours, and do you like it that way? And now my first card, let's see, to my Valentine. Let's kind of do it that way. You just have to determine, like, what part do you want to cover up? What do you want to let showing? And I may have stamped my flower a little bit further over this way on my original card too. But just kind of gently work with it so it lays flat. And it's one nice thing with this multi-purpose glue is you can kind of work it around if you need to. There's 2 and it just doesn't take a ton. Less is usually best. There are some times when it's not, but I just decided I kind of wanted to scoot mine up this way a little bit on that stem. Now my other one, my L, is clear over here. So again, you just do it whatever makes you happy. And then we have 3 pieces of real red cardstock. So this is our middle size one. So since it's out, let's just go ahead and put some glue and get this all centered up. So there's one panel. Do the same thing with our smaller. They're just very straightforward layers. There's nothing complicated at all. And like I say, all those measurements are on the blog post, so you don't even have to worry about memorizing them or writing them down. And then we have our tall, skinny one. All right, and like I said, that has a little edge to it, so I'm just gonna rub that away. And we'll just go ahead and build our card. You could put dimensionals under these if you wanted on the top layer. I wouldn't on the other ones just because it's kind of thick already. But on this top layer, you certainly could if you wanted to. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You can put it further to the top, further to the bottom, whatever your preference is. And here we have To My Valentine. Now, you do want to make sure that this is hiding behind here. So if it makes you happier and you feel more comfortable, you can line it up here and fold this over. And then I actually I think I just slid mine over here. Now that I recall, I think I just did mine straight here on this side, but it does give you an idea for placement. See, so there it's covered up. Now this panel is a little bit thinner, and so it will be fine. But again, you just kind of want to double check, do your due diligence and make sure it's going to be hiding. It could come out further this way if you wanted it a little bit closer to center. I don't know, let's see. If we center it in here, it would still be good. It would be hiding. I think on some of my cards I did them centered and some of them I did not. So again, it all depends on what stamp set, what decorating you want to do, all of those things. I'm just going to lay that there, make sure it's covered. It is. And then just press that down. And we're just going to give that a nice little press. Again, we are going to come in with our paper snips. And this is so easy, but it's such a fun little detail. We're going to open this up. And we're just going to bring, and you wouldn't have to do this step if you didn't want to, but I think it adds such a nice character to the card. We cut over just to that score line. And then on this panel, we're cutting from this edge up to this one. And then we're going to do the same thing again. So there is this one. And then you can do it either way, whichever way you feel like you have a good sight line. And I may have to go in and straighten that other one up here for a minute. But there, just straight up to the top. So this is just the little piece that you're cutting off. That's what that looks like. And then when you close it, isn't that pretty? It's just all laid out so nicely with that little graduated edge. Now I have our rainbow adhesive back dots, and these are actually shown in the catalog with the lighter than air sweet, but it has some flirty flamingo in it. And I'm going to take one of the big ones and put down here because I like these big ones for the bottom especially. And then I am going to do two smaller ones here at the top. And that's our card. It is super sweet, super easy. And I had just taken that real red ink and that floral stamp, and I did our envelope as well. So see just how fun. Can't really stand it up and have it show well on camera, but it just goes together so simply and easily, and it's so pretty. It just makes for a great card for someone. Okay, this card features the softly stippled paper. It uses some of the opaque faceted gems, and then it used the softly sophisticated stamp set, and that's part of a bundle. So here's this one. This ribbon is so nice. It's also a Sale-A-Bration item. I forget what page it is on, but it just is in the pool party, and it is so pretty. It's such a nice ribbon. And I just used my stamp and made just a background there, just with this little stamp all by itself. And then I really appreciate you, and hello there. Here's our card. It's so happy. I love these. These are my colors. I love them. These are the, let me see what these are called, Everyday Details dies. And I like that it puts those holes in the paper. And these, I think, are some more of those free gems as well. And then these are some of those from that hybrid embossing folder. And I just cut those apart and used different colors. And then this is from the Hooray for Surprises, this stamp, I know, and this one as well. So that is just a super happy card. And as much as I love the bright colors of our previous card, I also like these pastel colors a lot. I use the Flight and Airy paper, which is on page 6 of your Sale-A-Bration book. And then, let's slide this over here. On page 28, these are the Everyday Details bundles. So that's where that die came from. See how it cuts the paper, it puts the holes into the paper. It's really pretty. And then these are the stamp set. And I didn't use any of the paper with the birds. I just used these ones that were the B-sides, that just were that paper. And I just made my own design here and used some of our bubble bath ribbon there. And I think these are also the gems from the Lighter Than Air suite. And just made our little bird's nest, used that speckle, stamped off and put some speckles on there. And then I just did this little design here with this vase on the back and just moved it over. Didn't stamp the whole one, just took it off the edge. Sometimes that adds a really nice element to your cards. And so this one was just super happy too. So here are 4 cards, just using all different kinds of papers and stamp sets. So you can just take this and use it with anything that you already have, and you'll be able to make some really pretty cards and use up some of that designer series paper that we've all been hoarding. We all do it, so get something out that makes you happy, cut it, and then send these cards to someone and bless them. There have been also some additions to the free Sale-A-Bration offerings, so you want to go to thepolkadotlife.com and click shop, and it'll take you to my online store, and you can look up all of the Sale-A-Bration items. Just do a little quick search, or it will pop up at the end when you're checking out, and you'll be able to see what all is available. These are exclusive Sale-A-Bration products, like these papers I showed you today, but they took some papers and let's see, there's paper from the regular line, some stamp set, a punch, I can't remember what all, but that were some in our annual catalog, and a couple things from the new mini catalog even are in there. So I want you to look at those, and you can make your choices based on your order total and get some new toys to play with. As always, remember to be kind, send a card, and do something creative. Bye-bye.